Hey everyone. I am just learning how to do this, so forgive any technical problems. I'm just going to go ahead and get started here painting, and not sure how many people are going to watch, but that's okay because YouTube will save the video. And so if someone doesn't get to see the live stream, they can actually just tune in later. So today I'm going to be doing a portrait of Eckhart Tolle. This is actually a commission. I've been asked to do this painting, so this isn't, I mean, maybe I would have painted it otherwise, but it's just a painting of somebody who, teaches about mindfulness and being thoughtful and living an intentional life, so it's not completely irrelevant to what I'm doing. And you can see that I've started with a pencil drawing. And then if you want to leave me a chat, hopefully I can see the comments that you make. So I learned a trick from Nick Runge. Mixing permanent orange with quinacridone pink, and you get kind of this vivid color that can be used to start making flesh tones. And so I'm just going to go ahead and start blocking in shapes. So let's see what happens when I do that. There are a few ways to start a painting like this, and I might start more of a traditional way to go, but I'm just going to look at my reference and just see where the highlights are. So there's a highlight here on the forehead, and then here on the cheek and around the eye. So I'm going to preserve those spaces and then fill in the rest of the face. So I'm just going to start right here. Just dive in. And I think Eckhart Tolle would agree that it's good to treat this as a mindful practice. So I'm going to try to paint as mindfully as I can and let go of judgment of what I'm doing. And just kind of see where it goes. I can already tell I might want to start with a bigger brush, so I'm just going to really quickly switch over to my larger brush. It's got a little something else in there, but that's okay. And I'm just going to start blocking in these darks here, right there. Let's just leave that for now. And then fill in some of this here. Looks like I have a viewer. That's cool. I think it might be a person I'm married to, though. But that's fine, because I like her. That's just fine. This is a bold color to start out with. Hey, and you know what? If this painting ends up being a failure, that's okay. Sometimes in watercolor, it's a fail. And then you just start over. It's a very quick medium. It's kind of like being a ninja, an art ninja. You just do your best, and then sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, and you just kind of go with it. I'm actually gonna do that there. Now I'm going to block in some of this on the side. This is kind of a more traditional way to do watercolor, because I'm just basically filling in all the places with the foundation except for the lightest lights. It's going to be a little messy, and that's okay. Because each layer is going to build on the foundation of the previous layer. Let's see. Okay, so now you can see I've got a blocking in of all the darks, the darkest darks in here. And I'm going to warm this up a little bit. So now I'm going to add some orange, some permanent orange. And I'm going to continue blocking in, but the reference picture that I've got is a lot warmer than this. This is really pink, what I'm seeing here. So I'm actually going to do another layer. Let's see, that's still a little. So this time, I'm going to do this. A little bit different. There we go. It looks like I've got a couple people watching now, so welcome to whoever's watching now. Feel free to leave a comment. Feedback is good. I love making these shapes on the face. It looks cool to me. That's why I do it like this. That's pretty cool. Eckhart Tolle has a beard, but I'm not quite gonna do that yet. Just starting things out. All right, so now I'm going to add some more orange here. So let's see. I kind of want to fill in some of this stuff, so I'm going to do this. There we go. And fill in that part. Kind of goes to his eyebrow. Gonna fill in the eyebrow there. And he's got a little ridge on the nose. Good thing about this stream, I mean, I'm just starting out, so I don't expect a ton of people here on my very first stream. On the other hand, this stream will stay up for people who want to watch it later, and it's a commission, so at least I'm getting a commission in the bag. Okay. All right. So far I'm liking how this is looking. add a little line to delineate where the brow comes in. Now it looks like we got a little more pink. So this is pretty common, but so you're going to hear me say this a lot if you keep watching, but I always shift more to the pink when we're talking about an area of the face that has a lot of capillaries under the skin. I'm going to leave some spots for reflections, and then I'm going to fill in like this. Okay. And then curl underneath right here. And I can make that edge hard or soft. And I think I'm just going to soften it up a bit here on this side and on this side too. Here it kind of comes out a little bit more, so I'm going to pull that watercolor out. Maybe a little bit here too. Okay. So now I got a nice kind of pinkish area there on the side. Now, the more I look at his face, the more I see just how orange it appears. So I'm just gonna emphasize that right here. There we go. There we go. Cool. And this is dry. One of the biggest things that'll kill your watercolors is impatience. So as quick as watercolor is, you do have to be patient. I'm going to add some orange here. Okay, got a nice warm color. So this is going to be more of the shade, and I'm just going to block in the shade. Now at some point I'm going to put in really cool colors, but not quite yet. I'm going to have to start using a smaller brush again. Well, let's just finish this. And then I'll just finish this out down here. I just decided to start this YouTube channel because I thought maybe it might be helpful or nice for some people to just watch somebody paint. It's kind of nice to just have a place to paint. And so either you just like to watch a person paint, or you're an artist and you want to maybe learn how I do it. And so we shall see how it goes. With my Instagram, I'm really active on Instagram. And it's taken me several years to get any sort of a significant following. I'm just going to fill this out here. So maybe, I don't know, it'll take a couple years for this, but I'm thinking if I just keep at it, eventually people who are interested will find my stream. And if not, it's not like I'm wasting time, because again, I'm doing a commission. This will be out of the way. I can move on to the next commission. Just see how it works. This eye needs to be filled out, so I'm just doing this eye here. You can see this brush is just way too big for what I'm doing. So I'm just going to switch to a smaller brush now. And the face is still a little wet, so I'm just going to hold off on doing the face and maybe focus my efforts somewhere else. So I like to do, just going to go back to the big brush for just a second and do some kind of a background. So I just have to think about what color might work. So I've got some Payne's gray, maybe I'll try some of that. Or maybe some, let's try this. Let's do some of this Prussian blue. And I'm just gonna, Prussian blue feels really satisfying going down. It's so vivid and bright, and it doesn't dry quite as vivid, but it's still kind of nice. I'm just going to turn the face a little bit. Here we go. Because I'm right-handed. Just going to outline the side of the face here. I like to be a little artistic with the background, so maybe I can just do a little something like that. And then the same thing over here. And pull it down. And finally, let's just make some shapes over here. There we go. We don't want the background to distract too much or take attention away. Okay. So just checking a live stream here. Okay. Want to make sure it's dry and before I put down any more layers. Okay. So let's see. Maybe because I got the blue, well, I really need to make sure I block in the dark layers of this face. So just want to see kind of what color might be most helpful. And I'm going to add some of this. I think this is raw umber. It's a cool brown. And if I don't want it to be too cool, I can add a little orange and red to it. But, so let's see, that's not too dark, but that's okay because it's not going to be the last layer that we do. So why don't I just go for the really dark areas first. And then if we need to change that, we can. We can go over it if we need to as well. This is an interesting portrait. It's very stately pose and look. Looks like the founder of a religion, which he's not really, but kinda a little. I'm just gonna, here we go. Just blocking in shapes right now. Then kind of this, but I'm gonna blend that edge a little bit more. So this is gonna be blended. There. I'm really active on Instagram, and so if you want to see much more active process, you can look me up on Instagram. Meaning if you want to interact with me a little bit more. I'm a noob on YouTube, so all right, looking all right. And then, especially here, I'm gonna make sure trying to run out of this color, but that's okay. I'm just gonna fill this in like this. And what I'm doing when I'm looking at the reference is just looking at really subtle variations in shape and value, and then I'm exaggerating them. So that's going to be like a shape like that, and this will come under like that. And then his beard, I'm going to start adding some texture for the beard. Hey, I got another viewer, that's great. New viewers, if you'd like to leave a comment, you can, and I can see what you write. Or if you just want to watch, that's fine too. But I am just filling in some shapes in Eckhart Tolle's face at the moment. So I'm going to write in like that. And then he's got a little bit of this going on here. Okay. And hey, I got a like on my stream. That's cool. Thank you, person who liked it. I'm just going to make like a little line right there for the eye. And a little thing here on the side of this part. And here. And just a little bit here too. Okay. And I'm going to delineate some of the shapes of the face. Maybe I could start doing the hair too. you might notice, with watercolor, the painting can look a little strange until you're nearing the ending stages. But like the middle stages, it's like growing your hair out. The middle stage is the most awkward because you've got these weird chunky blocks and then no real value or anything yet. So I'm going to switch to a larger brush for this hair. With hair, you can kind of go crazy, so you can just kind of blop, blop, have fun with it at first. Just kind of get in the general idea. I had a little Prussian blue on my brush, but that's okay because I'm covering it up. Sorry. Because the hair is, I'm going to have to do a few layers of the hair anyway. And mostly in the reference picture, it's really dark. So part of this is, if a person's an artist, they might be able to learn from this. If they're just wanting to watch somebody paint, hopefully this is a soothing process. Hey, I got 3 viewers. Yay. Hopefully it's a soothing enough process where even if you're not an artist, you might just kind of watch and enjoy the process, see how it happens, and I can talk you through it. Or if my voice gets on your nerves, you can just let me know, hey, you really don't have to talk us through this. We're enjoying it. We don't have to be constantly entertained. And again, to all the viewers out there, all the 3 viewers that are watching right now, if you want to leave a comment, please feel free, and I will see it. There's a little bit of a delay, but I'll see it, so hang tight and I'll get to it. Okay. So right now you can see we've got the big color areas of the face blocked in, and some of the lines where the eyes are. So, hey, I got 2 likes. All right. It's working, E.T., it's working. Okay. Okay, so I got another warm color here. So I'm going to start doing in some transitional areas. And then, this part, it gets into the more intuitive part. So I'm kind of just doing what feels natural. Hey, it's my friend from Japan is watching this, and I'm guessing it's during the day in Japan, so it's not that hard to just tune in. And let's see. I'm going to add some darks here. All right. So this side of the face, let's see, it's still a little bit wet. So I don't want to get too crazy, but maybe I'll start up here and just kind of add this layer. See, each layer that I add adds a bit of depth, a bit of contour. My friend from Japan is Yuka, and she is a very good author in Japanese, and then her works are translated into English for people who want English. Hey, thanks for all the comments. Mariah? I actually don't know how to, which is the right pronunciation, but thank you. The color and composition is the good part. Well, that's good, because at some point I'm going to run out of things to say, and you're just going to have to be like staring at me. But it's okay, because let's see. Like I said, this is fun for me, and so I'm going to be painting either way. I mean, I might be painting even without the live stream, so why not just put it online and see, then people can enjoy it. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more of this deep red. Here we go. I'm going to come around the side here and down. And I've tried my best to preserve the shapes in the face as best as I can. And there's actually a very deep area. Right under here, so I'm just gonna delineate the side of the lip there. I had a college professor who would use the word delineate all the time. Could have made it into a drinking game. And so here I am just using the same word. And if you like this video and you haven't already subscribed to the channel, you can do that and tell people about it if you think they might like it too. And if you think it's incredibly boring, then maybe it's a cure for insomnia, see? I'm using my degree in psychology to help cure your insomnia. Maybe you've got a delayed phase sleep-wake disorder, and that's why you're not sleeping right now. Hey, who knows? If that's you, maybe this will help. Or narcolepsy. I wrote a paper on narcolepsy, a couple actually. It's an interesting topic. Wow, I've got multiple people watching me. This is cool. I'm happy. And the other good thing is, like I mentioned before, maybe people will watch afterwards too. So here's a secret of art. You want to learn a secret? All three of you who are watching right now. Eyes are not really white. And so I like to preserve some whiteness in the eyes for painting later. But eventually I'm just going to leave a little tiny bit of white, because your eyes are not actually white. There's a little color to them, and so sometimes I'll use like a really desaturated skin tone. Ooh, I want to leave that really cool nose reflection. So this painting is looking a little odd, isn't it? It's looking odd because I don't have the very defined structures of the face yet. But I'll get those. And his ear is completely white, so let's figure that one out. Y'all are so kind to watch my video. Even if you have it just playing in the background, hopefully it's soothing and nice for that purpose too. I'm kind of hoping this is more, just not really passive, but just something that you can have on and not have to pay too much attention to, but then if you want to, you can. Here's another secret of portraits. Don't get too caught up in making the ears exactly right, because you don't want people's eyes to go straight to the ear anyway, unless it's some sort of an ear painting, which I'm not sure if that's a thing, but... All right, so how are we doing on the dryness here? Okay, so just for the sake of everyone watching, I'm going to really delineate, block out some of the main landmarks in the face, so it doesn't look quite so strange. So I'm going to get a really deep kind of reddish color, and the reason is a lot of the folds in the eyes and the face. Okay, so here's another art thing. You know, I'm just going to show you. When you have skin touching skin, the shade that happens in between is a little red because the blood under the capillaries under the skin, they kind of redden the sides. So anytime you've got skin on skin, you can kind of warm it up with a red. And so instead of doing like black lines for outlines and stuff, I'm going to just do some red, and in my reference photo, these are very red areas as well. So this is a very pinkish red. So this kind of goes to the end of the eye here, goes up here, and then a straight line, very thin line, like that. And I'm going to do some red on the nostrils here. I think this is going to look strange. Just bear with me, folks. This is going to look strange, okay. Actually, I'm just going to pull this out a little bit here. So in the nose especially, okay, so when you're out in the cold and you come in, you look at your nose, your cheeks, you got red nose, red cheeks. And again, that's just the capillaries under the skin. And an artist who knows about this can like really enhance that look and make a portrait really come to life by adding that in there. So if you know the nose and the cheeks, oh my goodness, this is a strange looking painting right now. Just bear with me because it's gonna get better. Okay, I got this mosquito or something. Okay. Don't worry, it'll look less strange once I'm moving along. Hey, but this is part of the process. It's not going to be pretty through the whole thing. Maybe there's a lesson in life there. What if this channel were just me like being incredibly condescending and preachy? Life is like this painting. Maybe I don't exactly want it to be like that. Okay, and then this cheek part is really red as well, because again, capillaries. It's all about the capillaries. And then this little under the lip right there, little there. You don't want to make the lips too red because, you know, we kind of have this idea, like from lipstick or something, that people's lips are just super red. But unless that's the look you're going for, you're going to get a more natural look by just using maybe a warmer skin tone. Okay. So now he is looking very strange, partly because his eyes are like completely washed out. Allison, you'd watch. Oh, cool. Okay, so why don't I do another layer of the hair? So for the hair, it's brown hair, but it's got like this red undertone that I'm seeing. So I'm going to do both. I'm going to get this raw umber, and then I'm going to grab some alizarin crimson, which I think of as like really a kind of a, what blood looks like is alizarin crimson. And I'm just going to warm up this hair. You know, every time I do a watercolor, the process is slightly different. And it looks different every time. With the hair, I just want it to be representative of hair. I don't want it to be too literal, because if you're just putting in every little strand of hair, like so two reasons. One, that would be make for an insufferable time. And two, you want to put the most detail where you want people's eyes to go. And so that's why I say, like with the ears, I don't want a bunch of detail in the ears. I don't want the ears to be like super naturalistic and real, because, I don't want people's eyes to go straight to that. So, guys, I'm so flattered that a bunch of people I say a bunch of people, 3 people, but that seems like a lot to take time out of their evenings to watch. So thank you. What if I added a little more on the side here and blocked out that blue a little bit more? Okay, I'm going to flip them over and then just do some messy, expressionistic type blue on the sides. Don't you just love how that color looks as it goes down? As it fades, maybe it kind of loses some of that pizzazz, but I just love how it looks when it goes down. Just such a intense, vivid blue. And then I'm just going to add a little bit more here. I actually don't know much about Eckhart Tolle. I mean, he's kind of a meditation guru and knows about like modern like meditation and spirituality. That's kind of like a modernist kind of Oprah spirituality, which is fine, but I don't know much about him. And so maybe I should say this portrait is not an endorsement of the views of... okay. This blue is Prussian blue. And I've got a tube of it right here. It's Winsor & Newton Bleu de Prusse. It's in French on there. Prussian blue. It is so useful, not just as a blue, but as a near black, especially if you're adding a deep like Pyrrole red to it or an alizarin crimson to it. You can get it almost black, and then you can do black without doing black, because with watercolor, as soon as you add black to it, it starts to deaden the whole thing. But if your deep colors are like deep purple or something like that, here, I'll show you a cool thing about the Prussian blue too. So right now I got some Prussian blue, but I'm gonna really water it down. So this is a ton of water in here. Well, really watered down Prussian blue is just like a baby blue. It's really remarkable. And then you add more intensity to it and it turns into like maybe a robin's egg type blue over here. I don't know how well you can see that. And then if you get it really, really dark, it's nearly black. So it's a really useful color. Another useful color that kind of behaves the same way. I'm going to add a little of this because he's wearing a sweater. This is like a shirt with some ridges on it. Okay. Another color that's really useful in that same vein is called, oh gosh, what's it called? There's a shade of green that's nearly black when you put it straight down, and then you can water it down to a a grayish green, and it's really beautiful too, especially for, if you're doing leaves or plants or stuff, which I don't use a whole lot. This is bothering me, so I'm going to look for it. Aha! Pearlane green. So it looks like that, Pearlane green. So this is Winsor & Newton Pearlane green. Boy, that is a useful color too. So if you're starting a collection of watercolor colors, try Prussian blue and Pearlane green for really useful colors. Okay, so Eckhart Tolle is looking a little creepy right now. How about we actually flesh out some of the features of the face so he's not quite so creepy anymore? In fact, I'm going to get some of that blue that I've been using, and I can actually just start in on the eyes. Eyes are interesting. I don't really want his eyes to just be like glowing. Do you see how instantly once I add the eyes, it's like, oh, it's a face. Because your brain is so tuned into the eyes. Okay, so I'm just going to let that sit for a bit. I'm going to add some more of this. So what I'll do is I'll take some alizarin crimson and add it to the blue we were just using. So now we're going to start really seeing some interesting stuff go on. Maybe more on the red side. Okay, so this is like a, I don't even know what to call this. It looks like wine to me. Red wine. And I'm just going to do some of the darkest features of the face. So hopefully he'll start looking really like a face and not like a creepy thing. Creepy mannequin or something. Okay, that's going to take a while to dry. I might regret doing that, but we'll see. This might be a little too dark. But we'll see. Now, if I need to really accelerate the drawing process, I can get out the hairdryer. But let's see how far I can get without doing that. So I've got kind of this dark shade, and I'm just going to put this into the darkest areas. With this red wine color. And this is Prussian blue and alizarin crimson. He's got a little bit going here. Now, if I can fix it, if one of these patches seems a little too bold or too dark, that's okay, because I'm going to be doing more transitional layers. So I can fix that. Okay, there we go. And I'm just going to do a little bit of this, like that. Maybe a little of this. Okay, maybe I'll use this color to block in some more of the hair, but I'm going to add some orange so it's not quite so purple. It's more of a brown. So a red wine color turns to brown. See that? When you add orange to it. And let's just see what that does. Okay, it's a little darker now. And that's nowhere near where it's got to be, you know, once I'm getting to the end, but it's another layer down. It's got kind of a uptight haircut, I would say, but I'm only saying that because mine is longer. Okay. All right, I'm going to use some of that dark to do some beard. And the trick to doing hair or a beard or stubble like that is just use the side of your brush and just scrape. Just like that. He's got a little hair too. Okay. All right, now it's starting to look like a face. Wow, I've been doing this for 51 minutes. Usually I can get a portrait like this done in a couple hours. So that's the goal, is just maybe a 2-hour portrait. So, my 3 viewers, you have been with me hopefully halfway through this thing. Okay, now I want to make sure I'm not, okay, it's still a little bit wet and I don't want to chance it. So I'm actually going to get some ultramarine now. So this is a lighter blue. And I'm just looking at some of the cool areas of his face. And there's just a little hint of blue, and I like to really exaggerate that. So I'm just going to go through and just find some of the cooler areas of the face and just block in some of this blue here. This end up being a little purplish. Okay. And a little cloudy blue right under here. And that's what makes portrait just a little more interesting too, because you know, there are some artists who they really like to you know, reproduce something exactly. So their painting looks exactly like the thing you're looking at. And that's fine for some artists, but you know, I think where art really gets interesting is when you start to just see colors and more of a kaleidoscope in there. I'm going to add some of this blue, this ultramarine. Let's just do some here, because it's a little cooler on this side. And there's a little bit, just going to put a little bit on the ear, more on this side. Okay, so while I'm waiting for that to dry, maybe I'll do another layer of blue here. And same thing over on the other side. Okay, so what now? How about we'll do another layer of the hair, and we're really starting to get into the darks of the hair. So I'm gonna get some of this brown. And I'm gonna add something to it to darken it. And what I found is if you add Prussian blue to brown, it kind of just makes this weird green color. And so I'm actually just gonna add some of this perylene green to it. So then at least it's a more pleasing brown. There we go. And it's a little darker, but it also makes it a little opaque. So this means this is getting to maybe the end of, there we go. There won't be too many layers after this on the hair. Okay, and I don't know why, I'm just kind of having fun with that right there. Okay. And let's see, we're going to add some I think I'll add some red to that. Again, I don't want the hair to be too detailed. Now it's starting to look like hair though. See, it's got some shape to it. And same thing over here. I'm gonna really darken that. And it's actually dark all the way up. Some things about color mixing are just strange. So it's like, I don't want to add blue to the brown because then it turns it green. So I'm just going to add green to the brown. It's just sometimes the color mixes don't make a lot of sense, but there's a logic to it. See how I'm like dry brushing? So I've got a dry paintbrush and I'm scraping more because that hair has texture. So I can kind of simulate the texture of hair by just dry brushing a little bit. Okay, let's move from the hair for just a little bit. Actually, you know, I can use the same color if I dry brush it. Just add a little bit more of this here on the beard. Beards are kind of vexing when it comes to painting watercolor. It's not a great medium for hair, for, you know, beards. Not horrible, but it's kind of just tough to not look cheesy. You can hear the texture because, again, I'm dry brushing is what they call it. All right, and do this. All right, so let's let that be for a bit. So now I think it's starting to look more like a face. That's just how I see it. And again, I can add some more transitional layers. And pretty much the rest of this is going to be transitional layers. And what I mean by that is I've got really strong areas of dark, really strong areas of light, but I need to eventually, you know, his eyebrow is so light. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna do my dark red-orange mixture again. And do another layer here. So again, this is what I'm calling a transitional layer. It's not too light, it's not too dark, it's just filling in some shade. And it's making a smoother transition between light and dark in my painting. Hey, I've got 4 viewers now. That's cool. Welcome, new person. Feel free to leave a comment if you want me to know who you are, because I can't automatically see the identities of the people watching. So I'm going to do a little transitional area here and here. Hey, if you guys like watching, you can just suggest like, hey, what do you like to see? Do you want more portraits? Do you want figures? Do you want something else? I don't do many other things. But if there's something I do, maybe a fan art thing or something, I can try that. Okay, right around this nostril, I want to give it some shape. So I'm going to do this, go over it, and then add this and go like that. There's a little bit of color there. It's very dark, but warm too. Okay. I'm going to use that same color on the lip. Lip, one important thing to know is the top part of the lip. It's always going to be dark because it's in the shade. All right. Hopefully this is very soothing and helps you wind down if you're about to go to bed, if you're in the Western Hemisphere. If you're in another hemisphere, I don't know what to tell you. Hopefully I'm not putting you to sleep at work. I will always say more portraits and figures, maybe landscape, wildlife, etc. I don't know much about animal painting. I know about landscapes a little. I've tried landscapes a little, and they can be cool. I don't know that watercolor is super great for landscapes. There are really good landscape painters out there, don't get me wrong. But I think the type of painting I do with these blocks and forms and stuff, when I'm like blocking out shapes in a face, it doesn't really transfer very well to landscape. And so if I start doing landscapes, I'm just basically gonna have to relearn how to paint because that's something else. Let's give him a stronger cheekbone. There we go. odd looking, isn't it? I can't help but think there's more work to do on this than I thought there was going to be, but let's do that. I'm going to add some orange to this and then block in the whole ear, other than a few like really. I've seen you paint some frogs and trees. They were gorgeous, although I'm not sure if the trees were watercolor. Let me think about that. Frogs, yes, I remember the frogs. I distinctly remember the frogs. Maybe I did some trees, I don't know. I can't remember. I love painting people, but I also am not the type who, I just get bored. I get bored really easily. So, okay, let's see. The biggest mistake that I could make is going over some of these right now too heavy, so I'm just gonna lay off a bit. But I do love figures and I love portraits. Just love painting people. Okay, I'm gonna lay off on that part because it's still a little wet, and that's just a real easy way to kill your paper and your layers. Just put too many layers down while it's still a little too wet. So what can I do in the meantime? I'm going to flesh out a little bit more of the shade in his chin here. And I think I can do portrait or figures on YouTube, but you know, I don't ever do figures intending to be lewd or pornographic or anything like that, but there's a difference of opinion, so I don't know what YouTube will allow. I think figures done for the purpose of art are like specifically allowed. But again, it's in the eye of the beholder, and I don't want to get a ding on my account first thing at the gate. Hey, if I were getting enough attention to where somebody actually were offended by my work, maybe that would be a good thing. Hey, somebody's paying attention. Let's get some warmer color there. I'm gonna go back in here. Get some warmth here. And some here as well. Still a little bit wet on that side. I'm just not going to risk it. Okay, let's see. I'm actually going to do a very, very light transition right around here. Goodness, I'm running out of things to talk about, so if I go silent, you know, it's just, I got nothing to say. Sorry. it's okay though. Okay. Now he's really starting to look like a person. All right, so once again, I'm going to add some depth. This time I'm going to add some red to my hair mixture. So this is going to be red. I'm going to do alizarin crimson and add some of this perylene green as a sort of darkening shadening. And now I'm just going to look at the darkest areas of the hair and just put those in. And this is literally just to add a little bit of depth in the darkest parts. The darkest parts. Okay, here on the side. And then I'm going to add a really vivid orange and or alizarin crimson. Here on the edge, because in the reference it's very vivid, that part. You know, that transition between just the skin and then the hair kind of casts a shadow. Okay. And there's a little bit of that same effect right under here. So I'm going to add that. And maybe add a little bit more of that. Now we're getting somewhere. That's a really vivid color. Okay, I'm going to add some of it over here because it's just cool. A cool color, and I'm just making it more vivid. And actually this part of his face has got that effect going. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of add this reddish orange, very sanguine color right there. It's definitely got an interesting face. I'll give him that. Whoever this guy is, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just a commission of someone who likes, from someone who likes Eckhart Tolle. Okay. See how that side is just like glowing? I don't like that. But let's just go with it. Okay. He's got this sweater. It's a very Mr. Rogers looking sweater. And let's find a... Who organized this palette? I want to make a space over here. Let's clean off a space. I'm not much of an organized person when it comes to my artwork. Not very much time organizing and a lot of time making things. Okay, so his sweater is like this Mr. Rogers kind of mustard, Dwight Schrute color. So I'm just going to add a little bit of green to it. Those colors aren't playing too well together. They're like repelling each other. Okay, and I'm just going to block in that part. But again, I don't want people's eyes to go straight there. So I'm probably going to really darken this side and just kind of make it more abstract. So I want people's eyes to go right here, right to the major features of the face. Here's some looking a little different because I changed brushes. Why did I do that? Why? Okay. Then I forgot that this bottom part here is also blue, so I'm just gonna do that, do this, just darken it. I'm kind of making it dull. I don't want it to be bright. Okay. So now you can really see where the light's coming in. The light is just shining right here on that part of the face. So let's see. That's still a little wet. That's doing okay. That's still a little wet. So how about I shift to the background again, and I'm just going to make one final pass on the background, and when I add a little bit of Pyrrole Red, that's gonna darken it. So I'm really gonna make it dark on this side of the face, which is gonna frame that side with a little more contrast, just like that. And then just a little bit on the side of a shade here. And a little right here. Okay, cool. All right. And maybe since I'm on a roll with the blue, I'm gonna look at the eyes again. And you don't want to make the eyes too, you want the eyes to blend in a little bit. You don't want them to be like glowing, So I'm just gonna add a little darkness there, a little darkness under the eyelid. I'm really trying to be subtle here because the eyes are going to look a little cartoonish if you overdo it. And, eyes are three-dimensional, so they're not just like the Target logo with a, a circle with a circle in the middle. It's a three-dimensional object, so okay. So I'm going to take some of that blue and make like a dark shade over here. I'm literally just making a mud out of what's on the palette. I'm just going to add some depth to the lips here. Some right here to the lips, and then over here. And then of course on this side of the underside of the lips. And a little there. Okay. 8:30, 9:30. Coming up on 2 hours, but this is starting to look okay. Okay, I would like to use the hair dryer, and I've got it around here somewhere, maybe. No, I don't. I must have. Oh, yes, I do. Okay, please forgive me. Maybe I can mute it or something. But I'm gonna do the hair dryer just to make sure everything's dry, because if I keep messing with it right now, it's gonna become a mess. So I'll be right back. And I'm just going to switch off the microphone for just a moment so you don't have to listen to it. So here you go. Okay. Still with me? Okay. So now it's completely dry. And I can focus more on, whoa. Okay. I can focus on really putting in the finishing details. So when I'm looking at the reference photo, this side of the face is just really dark. And so I'm going to just go ahead and just put in a really deep color there. Let's see if I can do it without overdoing it. This is one of those moment of truth things because, let's see. This is where it's, it's possible to just overdo it and then you kind of ruined your painting. But if I'm just really judicious about it, I should be able to pull this off. Okay, and now I'm going to do this. And then this is dark, and then this is too. All right, let's see how that turns out. Who knows? People are still watching. That's so nice. It's validating. Everyone loves a little validation. I'm going to add a little of that. Okay. And I'm just going to reinforce that and this a little bit. Okay. All right, let's see what that does. What if I just put a little here? Okay. All right. Getting close. Okay. So I'm going to take this really muddy yellow here. And I'm just going to make the sweater seem like a sweater. And then on the other side too. It's actually quite dark on that side, so I'm gonna and then the fun part is getting all these little lines of texture. Okay. So this is around the point in the portrait when I start standing up because I want to get a kind of a bird's eye view of the painting. So let's see. So what I'm noticing right away is that in the reference, his complexion is a lot warmer than I'm making it. I'm making it very pink. But it's actually really warm, meaning more orangish, more almost yellow. And so what I'm going to do is do a huge wash, which means I need to blow dry again. Hold on. Thank you for bearing with me. So I'm going to do like an orange wash. Maybe with a little... No. I'm too chicken. I was going to say with a little yellow. Well, a little. A little can't hurt. Just a little opaque, that's the only thing. And yellow tends to dominate when you add yellow. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just wash over the whole thing in the areas that need a little bit more transition. So here we go. Here. Look at that, just brings life to it. Here. Here. See that? It just brings it to life. This was definitely missing from my painting. I think this is going to work. I'm going to mix up a little more. And let's add some here. On the neck beard. Cool. Now that is something else. And then finally up on the forehead. So right here. This is one of the great things about watercolors, being able to do these washes. I'm just going to do that. Bring it around on the side like that. How about that? And I think that's truer to the reference as well. Okay. So while we're at it, I'm going to add another layer to the sweater here. Again, I don't want to draw too much attention to the sweater, but I don't want it to be incomplete either. So I'm just going to do that to the sweater. He's glowing now. Pretty funny. This is really dark in the reference. You can't see the reference. I can't frame up the I can't do this and then let you see the reference at the same time, and so you're gonna have to trust me on that part. Plus, eventually, I don't want to. If I'm doing figures or whatever, I don't want to show the models because I've made that mistake before. Okay, we are getting there. We are really getting there. Okay. We're almost done. I can feel it. We're almost done. I'm adding some more to the eyebrows here. Seeing that this part right here is one of the darkest areas of the painting, so or the reference. And this as well. So I'm just gonna darken that a little. And if I need to redo the transition there, I can do that. And then this is very dark. And then this is dark. Okay. Now, the beard still doesn't have the texture I want. Let's just... You know who he looks like in this painting? Who am I thinking of? He was in SNL. Chris Parnell. To me, he looks like Chris Parnell. But I don't think it's because he looks like Chris Parnell. I think it's because my painting of him looks like Chris Parnell. AKA Dr. Spachemin. Okay, we're just going to do a little of that there. A little more there. A little darker there. Okay. We're in the home stretch. I was not expecting to be this tired. But alas. Okay, we're going to get some... This is just me getting some really dark areas. To just really add some depth to the hair. And then how about some red? Some really sanguine red right here. Just to make it interesting. And that when that dries, it's not going to be quite so in your face. Hey, I've got a fourth viewer. Thank you for watching and joining. And feel free to leave a comment if you want me to know who you are, because I can't tell who you are from... Look at that. That's cool. I like that. Okay. So... now all I'm doing, I'm just adding little tiny finishing touches, but first, blow dryer again, because I don't want to ruin it. So here, I'm just gonna turn the mic off. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, see that red and orange, it still leaves a little touch of a something, but it's not as intense as you'd think. Okay, so what do I still need? Right now it's literally finishing touches here. So what do I still need? I need some more shade on his face. I'm going to do this over here. Like that. And I'm going to add some here. And add some here. And maybe transition it a little bit. Do that. finally over here. Okay. Ah, there we go. All right, and then this is a little bit more like that. This is like that. And his nose is not any more defined than that, really. We've got a little bit of this going on. And a little of this. Can you feel the end of this painting happening right now? It is just about done. This is a really warm shade, but I'm kind of adding the little bits of life that can really make or break a painting. Let's add a little bit more of this to the edge. The hair naturally. You know what, let's fix this problem here. Look at that, that's kind of messy. I'm just gonna do this because it's more textured than that. And I do want some more texture in that beard. So now is when I really add these details in. And I make sound effects while I paint. That's just, you're gonna have to live with that. I'm sorry. Ah, that's such a difficult thing to do, is paint the beard texture. Why must you have a neck beard? Eckhart Tolle, why? Because you're German? Is that a German thing? All right. Ooh, shouldn't have touched that. Okay. One more hair dryer. Yeah, okay. So how's it coming? So I'm seeing in the reference, I'm going to put in some of the darkest darks now. So for that, I'm going to get some of this Pearlin green and some of this red. So this is going to be a really deep kind of reddish wine. And I'm just going to outline the face here. And he's got some of it here. The colors get a little weird here at the end because it's like it's just me finding a dark that I can use. That'll stay dark, and there we go. Nice. And that's a really dark there, so I want to preserve that. And then this nostril is very dark, so I'm just gonna make sure that's in there. And so is this. There. And then this area right here is very dark in the reference. And it comes down like that. And like that. eyebrows have a little bit more definition like that. Can you feel the end of the painting coming? Hopefully you can see it happening. These are going to define his face a little bit better, because I think, there we go. All right, guys, I think at this point, I'm just gonna call it good for the night, because I am satisfied with where this painting is. And usually the way that these work is the next couple of days I'll kind of walk in here and I'll see something I don't like and I'll do a little touch up on it. Right now I'm seeing this whole area on the side of the face right here. But other than that, I think I'm going to call this basically done. I'm such a perfectionist. Look, I'm just like, it's almost done. Not really. But I'm getting tired too, so I'm very grateful. And I have to work in the morning, so I can't stay up too late anymore doing this. Thanks again, everyone, for joining me on this video. I'll keep the video up because I feel like it still turned out pretty good. And next time, I want to have like a consistent time where I can just live stream whenever I want. Not whenever I want, so live stream consistently. And so if there's a certain time that's good for you, let me know. And I could do like Sunday evenings or whenever. I think Sunday evening's probably a good one, or Saturday. Saturday's good because it gives me more time to stay up where I'm not working the next day. So just let me know when a good time is, and then I can set up my live stream at that time, and that'll be cool. So anyway, there we go. Okay, there's Eckhart Tolle, and I might as well just go ahead and sign it, because that's the fun part, right? Okay, here we go. ART 21. And that painting is complete. Okay, almost 2 hours. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night, and I will hopefully see you next week. Take care.